A small but distinctive community inhabits the hills of Chamba and Kulu in Himachal Pradesh, the Gaddi shepherds. Their main home is the valley of the Ravi and is known as Gaddarang, the land of the Gaddis. It is spring. The Gaddi, his sheep and his dog are very much a part of the lush landscape. Most of the Gaddis live in the town of Bharmor and surrounding villages. The area is so sheltered by high mountain barriers that strife and war have never violated its peace. Tradition has it that the Gaddis were originally shepherds of Delhi and Punjab. They fled to the safety of these hills during the early Muslim invasions. Here they have lived ever since. Some of the Gaddi relics are housed in the Chamba Museum. Of special interest is their picturesque costume, a heavy woolen chola or cloak, secured at the waist by a black woolen rope or dora. The ornate pouches are meant to hold tobacco, stone and flint. Their dress and cultural traditions have remained unchanged for over 1,000 years. But the real test of their social cohesion lies in their dialect, which to this day retains its character. Tenacious of culture, tenacious of life. Some of them tend the sheep, others till the land. They take what the mountain gives them, mostly maize, a bit of wheat and barley. But the mountain, with its narrow strips of terraced fields, gives them just about enough to keep body and soul together. That's how they have lived for centuries, in dark timber houses built by themselves, kept warm only by the fire in the hearth. Their needs are few and their food simple. The Gaddi thinks of his sheep all the time. By night, he leaves his herd in the field for manure. There's plenty of brown bear in the hills, and sometimes a prowling beast lifts a sheep or two. Could it be the bear? Better go and check up. All is well here. There are 3 shearings in a year, and sheep and men have much in common. The wool from the first shearing is not for sale. The gaddi families need it for their own use. Blankets, dresses, shawls and caps. The looms are simple, so are the designs. As for durability and purity, there need be no worry. Gaddi shawls and rough tweeds are much in demand in the nearby markets. It is summer. The river flows fuller from the melting snows. The gaddi must leave his home and take his sheep to the high alpine pastures of Lahore, across the snowy passes, where the Himalayan slopes are wild and magnificent, where the neer grass grows. There is not much emotion as the men leave, no tearful goodbyes. They are going to be away for 4 months and more, but that is part of a gaddi's life. The pastures of Lahore are 20 to 40 days' trek away. The journey will be long and difficult, but the gaddi has the patience of a camel. Here's Lahore at last. Rugged, rocky, barren in appearance. But here is pasturage, and to spare, of the finest fattening grass in the world. Nearly 250,000 gaddi sheep pour into Lahore from Bharmor and the Kangra Valley every summer. Every gaddi takes his herd to his own allotted pasture, or dhar as he calls it. Here at last, alone with his sheep and his dog, the gaddi is the true shepherd of the fable. He belongs to the pastoral poets. No home cooking for the gaddis. From the nearby Lahuli village, they buy their provisions, mainly corn flour and rice. The meal they look forward to consists of maize chapati, sattu, boiled rice and sheep's milk. We don't know what the city dietitians might say about it, but the gaddis seem to enjoy the fare. Thus pass days upon days of solitude. Only the evening after glow of Lahore transforms everything into living warmth. And then the night, the cold, wind-swept night. The gaddis work in pairs, taking turns at watching the sheep by night. The sheepdog, of course, is ever vigilant. Whatever warmth there is comes from the fire and thoughts of home. What would the women be doing at home at this moment? In Lahore, there is no spring or autumn. There is only cold summer and colder winter. And winter is about to set in now. The gaddi must make for home before the high passes become snowbound. Back in Gaddaran, the gold of harvested corn covers the rooftops. In the winnowing wind, there is a message. The gaddis are returning. It is festival time, and at Bharmor, a fair is held every year in the great temple square. Men and women step out of their homes in their resplendent best. Here once again is evidence of a continuity of tradition, of unity and harmony. Here in a state of gay abandon is a well-knit homogeneous community wedded to its way of life, proud of its culture. A place sacred to all gaddis is Mani Mahesh Kailash, the abode of Lord Shiva. Once every year, a fair is held at the Mani Mahesh Lake at an altitude of 13,000 feet. The presiding deities are Lord Shiva and the goddess Kali. After the puja, a sheep is offered as sacrifice to Kali. If the sheep shivers, the goddess has accepted it. The water of the lake is freezing cold, but faith is warmer. It is November now, and the air is cold and heavy with the warning of winter. Soon the village will wear a mantle of snow. The pastures will turn into icy slopes. The gaddi, his family and his sheep must leave the mountains and seek fresh pastures and a new living in the plains. They will return next spring. Until then, goodbye, home. Some of them will stop in Chamba. Others will go further down to the plains of Punjab. Theirs is a hard life. Long stretches of loneliness and travel, with only short spells of home and family life. But they never complain, for they tread familiar traditional paths. Were these the roads along which their ancestors trekked to the safety of the hills over 1,000 years ago? Much is lost in the obscurity of time, but these mountains, these valleys know.